Chapter 6. The sound of a sports channel murmured through the house, accompanied by her daddy's occasional clap or groan at the TV. The dinner he made and the dessert Mama made sat heavily in Iris's stomach. Her parents sat on the couch together, and Vashti was in her room, talking, giggling with her dolls. Iris was in the dining room, slowly putting her school books back in her book bag. "Oh, Iris, I need to talk to you." Her mom stood up and walked toward her, her lips pursed in a straight line. Iris's stomach lurched. Did she find out about them sneaking to the clearing? "Yes, Mama." Miss Rose sighed. "I talked to the principal today about how irresponsible it was that we weren't given notice about the Young Captain's Award ceremony, and that we had to find out on television with everyone else." Despite herself, Iris's stomach jumped again with a little hope. She couldn't help it. Maybe they would honor her again, alone, or make an announcement on the intercom, or... He gave the same terrible excuse, that I, along with everyone else, got an email, and it must have been in my spam folder. When I assured him it wasn't, he said that he'd sent your certificate in the mail. Iris's heart sank. While announcing her achievement on the intercom wouldn't have been as good as being on TV, this wasn't even close. "Don't worry, Iris. I let him have it, for the both of us." She gave Iris a hug. "You know what great work you're doing, and so does the STEP team. I don't want you to get caught up in doing things for show. Just keep doing what you're doing. Be so good that they can't ignore you." Iris just nodded as her mom kissed her on the cheek and said to her father, "I'm going to give Vashti a bath and put her to bed." "Okay," Daddy grunted, then clapped at the TV. "I'll be right up." Iris just stood there, watching her dad watching TV, her book bag on her shoulder. She was going to go upstairs too, but she couldn't ignore how this news made her feel. Be so good they can't ignore you. Iris planned to do that. Once the STEP team competition started up again next semester, Iris knew her team would be more than ready. But she wanted to do something now, to show Heather and everyone. Her project on an abandoned grave in her neighborhood would be so much cooler than Heather's great-great-grandfather's Confederate sword. She had to find out more. She needed to go back. Iris looked around the house. All the lights were on, including the ones on the Christmas tree, making her house feel safe, warm, and cozy. She walked behind the couch, through the foyer to the front door, and looked out of the window beside it. There were the trees, still swaying in the moonlight, so dark compared to the blinking lights on the house in front of them. What if the spirits of the snow were real, and one caught her this time? "It's okay," she thought. "Don't be scared. It's just research for our project. That's all." She watched Mama walk upstairs, and halfway up, Iris blurted out, "Oh, I left my tablet at Daniel's." Her mother stopped on the steps. "Oh, Iris, when did you take it over there?" Today. I stopped by really quickly after school." She absolutely hated lying to her mom, but she had to go see the grave again. She had to have the best project. She had to prove to herself that she wasn't afraid. Iris heard a faint giggle. Her eyes widened until she realized it was Vashti, of course, her laughter coming all the way down the stairs. Iris fought hard not to roll her eyes again, frustrated at herself for jumping, but also at Vashti. She knew playing with dolls could be fun, but was she really laughing that hard at her own jokes? Vashti was probably doing it to get Iris's attention. Well, she had more important things to do. "Can I go get it?" she prompted. Mama looked at Daddy on the couch. "Just wait until..." "Mama, Daddy!" Vashti yelled. "Are y'all coming?" Mama looked at the stairs, then at Iris. "Okay, but come right back." Finally, her putting all of her attention on Vashti can help me, Iris thought sadly. "I will," Iris said. She had to be quick. She ran upstairs behind Mama to get her jacket. When she opened her bedroom door, her window was open again, the whistling wind blowing her curtains around. Again? It had to be Vashti. She was up here by herself. She went to the window and quickly did the flashlight signal, hoping Daniel would come with her, just in case. Daniel was laying on his bed when he saw it. He had been drawing earlier, thinking up ideas of a picture to give to his mother for Christmas, before it got too dark as the sun set behind the house. He just lay there for a second, not getting up to turn on the light in his bedroom. Then he saw a light outside, turning on and off, on and off, on and off. The signal from Iris. She wanted him to come outside. Again? At night? Daniel sucked his teeth. She'd promised that she wouldn't ask him to come out again if he went with her the first time. And look at how horribly that turned out. They ended up making snow angels on top of someone's grave. She was waiting for his response. What should he say? He didn't want to go. But he didn't think it was safe for Iris to go alone either. That was too complicated to say through flashlight. Maybe if he could just... Daniel? He heard his mom's voice moving smoothly through the dark to his ears. Yes, Mama? Are you okay? You went to bed early tonight. The lingering smell of tonight's roast beef and potato dinner reached his nose. He was stuffed, relaxed, unwilling to sneak out and risk having his mom come into his room in the middle of the night to find an empty bed, unwilling to let her think she lost another person she loved. Daniel hoped Iris didn't do the flashlight signal again while his mom was standing there. I'm good, Mama, he said. I promise. Good night. I love you so much. She closed the door. It was settled. He couldn't go, even if he wanted to. He reached under the bed and picked up his flashlight and turned it on for 10 seconds. The signal for no. Daniel flashed his light once for 10 seconds. He wasn't coming. Iris's stomach sank. She knew he probably wouldn't, but she was still keeping her hopes up. Oh well. She walked downstairs, shielding the tablet that was already in the pocket of her puffer coat. I'll be right back, Daddy, she said to her father. I'm getting my tablet from Daniel's. Okay, he said, not taking his eyes off the TV. Iris slipped outside. The cold air and thick, the overcast sky and inky blue. She looked one more time at her house, making sure her mom wasn't peeking out the window. She wasn't. She was probably too busy with Vashti anyway. Iris walked, crossing her arms, looking at the line of trees swaying behind the houses. Trees talk to each other, Sugar once told her. My aunt was afraid of them. She said she could hear what they were saying. Iris felt the trees were telling her to come back to the grave. She answered them, walking with her arms still crossed, the only sounds the crunch of ice and slush beneath her feet. She walked straight past the houses to the big clearing, without stopping or slowing down. There were the hand and footprints she and Daniel had made a few days ago, distorted in the ice, melting into one another, mixing with the mud underneath. The sight made her nauseous. She walked into the smaller clearing, the darkness falling over her instantly. Everything seemed sharper around the edges, stark. The branches of the trees pointier at the ends, the twigs on the ground like worms. Iris looked at the snow angel she made. While the hand and footprints were warped, this snow angel was still perfect. An icy snow angel with a grave marker in the middle of her chest. It was very still, no sound. It felt like the calm before the storm. She broke that silence when she decided to take a picture of the grave marker with her tablet. They could use it in their project, during their final presentation. She fumbled with the tablet, her gloveless fingers cold as she took a picture of the angel, of Avery Moore's grave. The flash that lit up the snow didn't reach the darkness beyond the clearing. Tss. She whirled around, hearing something that sounded like a twig snapping. She had the sudden, overwhelming feeling that someone was right behind her, about to tap her shoulder. Suga said if you looked over your left shoulder and saw a ghost, it was probably the devil. If you looked over your right, it was likely an angel. Iris had no intentions of looking over her left shoulder. She turned her head ever so slightly to the right, looking out of her peripheral vision. Nothing. As much as Iris had felt drawn into this clearing, she now wanted to run away, straight back into the house, into her bed with her nightlight. But she was already here. She wished Daniel was too. She looked at the gravestone again. Avery Moore. She studied it, ran her fingers over it, got her on her hands and knees, and started scraping snow, twigs, dirt away. She kept going, clearing the area of snow, the frozen earth hard and cold under her nails. Her left hand hit something. She grabbed a fistful of dirt and tugged it up, seeing a crumbling block. Another gravestone. There was a small glass pane in the middle with words scribbled on it in pen. Iris couldn't make out the name. It looked like it could have said Henry, but she could make out the years 1915 to 1950. Wow, Iris mouthed, the cloud of heat lingering too long in front of her mouth before fading away. Iris dug and dug, grabbing for answers, even using her foot to take up dirt and slush. Every so often, her hand hit something else solid. Iris kept digging, holes all around her. She'd uncovered 5 grave markers. She was sitting in the middle of a graveyard.